Bryan Colangelo, president, GM of the Philadelphia 76ers, has been linked to several fake burner accounts on Twitter. The accounts said some very disparaging things about several people in the NBA, many involving people who were on or have been on the Sixers.
Or are on now.
Yeah, or on them now. It dealt with Sam Hinkie, former Sixers GM, the architect of the process, who Colangelo ended up kind of replacing. He even went after Masai Ujiri of the Toronto Raptors, the guy who replaced him in Toronto. Yeah, it's crazy stuff.
I mean, like, those are, like, there are many layers to this. Those are the predecessors or successors, the rivals, in theory, of Colangelo that he attacked. Sam Hinkie and Masai Ujiri. Mm-hmm. Then there are the players involved. You've got Jahlil Okafor, who he apparently, with these tweets, repeatedly bashed for having a bum knee and failing a physical for a trade to New Orleans, and repeatedly mentioned, why aren't people talking about the failed physical that he had with the Pelicans? That people were like, I mean, nobody knew about it. So yeah, it came out of nowhere. This random Twitter guy is talking about some failed physical that nobody knows about. Apparently, it's Bryan Colangelo saying this stuff. Called Nerlens Noel a selfish punk while he's on the roster.
That's like the funniest one.
Yeah, it's hilarious. You can find, a countless number of tweets on Joel Embiid and how, his ego is through the roof, and how
he said he wanted to climb on a ladder and like knock some sense into him.
Yeah, I wish I could climb on he said a medium-sized ladder. He didn't even say how
tall is a medium-sized ladder? Is it tall enough to reach Embiid? He's 7 feet
tall. That's why these tweets are so weird, to say I wish I could climb on a medium-sized ladder. Like, who says that? But regardless, so he can knock some sense into him. Talked about him dancing on stage with Meek Mill. Talked about remember the big controversy when Embiid played against the Houston Rockets on a torn meniscus. Everybody was like, why did the Sixers let him do that? This guy Colangelo's a bumbling idiot for letting this guy play on a torn meniscus. Fake Colangelo went on Twitter talking about how he didn't tell the team about his torn meniscus and that they didn't know about it.
Yeah, he was hiding the injury.
Yeah, he was hiding the injury. Now, how would fake Colangelo know that at the time, unless it was Bryan Colangelo? And then he also talked about how he's never going to be as good as Ben Simmons, and Ben Simmons is the real face of the franchise.
That was
which I want to talk to you about that later.
Crazy. That was the most explosive stuff we had in there.
And then we have the Markelle Fultz situation, which is probably the most bizarre situation in the NBA season, next to this. We're talking about how he didn't have a jump shot, and we thought it was a shoulder injury. A lot of people thought it was a shoulder injury. I didn't think it was a shoulder injury. But the guy seemed, Colangelo, fake Colangelo, seemed to suggest that, he's fine and that he should be out there playing and that a lot of it's all in his head, or that maybe there was something else going on that we don't know about with his family that he didn't.
Yeah, that the family was trying to like save face, the family, the father figure in the fan. That was
the trainer, family. His trainer, who he claims is a father figure, which it seemed that way, but. I mean, nobody knows.
Yeah, the fake Colangelo was saying this.
Call him a father figure.
Yeah, it was saying that like he was trying to save face for that guy by not going out there because he wasn't ready.
Yeah,
it was a lot of crazy stuff, and then also, this also underratedly might be the craziest thing. He basically laid out that the trade with the Celtics was gonna happen.
I thought that was hilarious.
He was like,
right after the lottery,
Celtics should trade the Sixers should trade the number 3 and the Lakers pick for number 1. That's crazy.
I told our dad, I was like, what's so crazy about this is that, like, imagine if there were other GMs that knew about this. Imagine if Danny Ainge knew about this. They kept it on the down low, but was like, oh look, fake Colangelo just tweeted that they want to get rid of the Lakers pick. Now in negotiations, you can swindle these guys,
right? And
that's what they did. Now I don't know if I imagine they didn't know about it, but that's what's so dangerous about this: that you're putting out your team's ideas, your ideologies out there, and it wasn't like these were private accounts.
And he also said something about like Brett Brown not playing full, so that it didn't look as bad that they didn't make the playoff. Something crazy like there wasn't much blame for them when they lost.
Exactly. Yeah. Basically saying he wanted Brett Brown was not playing Fultz so that it looked like they had a lesser roster. It'd be less blame on. You can use that as an excuse that I didn't have Markel Fultz, which is, I don't know, man. This is what the way we've laid this all out there is the reason why, if it's found to be confirmed that it was Bryan Colangelo, that no way he's keeping his job.
No,
I think it's even to the point where if they can't confirm that it's not him, he can't keep his job.
I agree too.
Like, if there's any bit of gray area, he's gone. Because Bryan Colangelo said that he had one.
He admitted to
He's
one.
like, I have one. I don't tweet anything. I just use it to read people. And that's fine.
Right.
Whatever. You got caught. It's not a big deal. If the other ones that actually do go out and tweet and bash players and leak information is anyone in his family, he's got to go. Because if I'm Joel Embiid, even if Jerry's tweeting that stuff, where's that coming from?
Right.
If his wife's tweeting that stuff, where's it coming from?
Yeah, where are they getting these ideas from?
I can't trust the guy. The guy's a snake.
I mean, yeah, this is one of the more bizarre stories I've seen. It leads me to the question when I think of what we had from Kevin Durant earlier this year, going on social media with a burner account, defending himself, bashing Westbrook and Donovan. Is this a normal practice amongst the NBA circles? Are many, or at least several NBA figures using burner accounts to defend themselves? Because if so, that's weird. Because to me, like, this, and I'm going to try to be as respectful as I can to Colangelo, but I'm going to call it like I see it. This seems like psychotic behavior. Look, being an NBA president, being a general manager,
Stressful.
I can't imagine the kind of stress you have to be under, especially in Philadelphia. Both of us knowing that city,
right?
Both of us knowing the passion for the Philadelphia 76ers. That's an extremely stressful job. But to go to these lengths, if this was indeed him, to go to these lengths to spew the kind of disdain that he clearly has for Hinkie and Masai Ujiri, who's not even on his team, who's a whole nother franchise. To use that thing to push propaganda, essentially, to defend yourself against various deals. Some of them felt like small potatoes deals. Like, why Brown's not playing Fultz in one game? Like some of these things were like random.
The Julio Okafor, Nick Stauskas, Trevor Booker trade. Like,
yeah, he's
why
on
are you
there
talking about
saying, "Oh, that trade looks a lot better now," and it's like, what? Like, some of the bigger stuff, like, it's still like, okay, that's still crazy.
The Fultz injury, like.
But if you're really sensitive, I can understand. But some of this small potato stuff that he was even going to tweet about, I mean, to me looks like psychotic behavior. I can't say I'm not a doctor, but with Durant, I said when Durant did what he did, I said I actually am worried about him because if you're going to those lengths, I'm worried that the pressure that you're under right now, what's name is promoting unhealthy behavior. I can't see how what Colangelo is potentially doing or allegedly is doing is healthy. And like even beyond the decision making I want from a basketball executive standpoint, just from again a healthy mindset, I don't think this guy is fit to be running my organization under any circumstances because of something like this. He has to go just from that standpoint. Forget about
this isn't basketball.
Forget about leaking team information on Twitter through anonymous tweets.
Yeah.
Just that alone is like you doing this alone. It's just you clearly may need to sit down, think about where things are at, and maybe get your mind right before you're ready to be running an NBA team.
Yeah, I mean, imagine the closest analogy, like we do Imperial Broadcasting, we do Hero Talk, and like another analogy would be like, imagine if like Zack Snyder had a burner account. He started
tweeting at us.
Yeah, he used that burner account to defend his movies,
right?
That are much maligned, and he said, "Oh, Marvel does this, blah 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 blah," and Chris Nolan is a bum, and my movies are great, or Zack
All
Snyder's movies are great.
Or like the Warner Brothers executives kept meddling into my vision.
Exactly.
Whatever.
We'd be like, this guy lost his mind.
Right, yeah.
And it was so crazy that, like, because Sam Hinkie has become a martyr.
Which fake Colangelo talked about.
Yeah,
He
exactly. Hates that idea.
Hinkie's become a martyr.
Like, because, Hinkie's become more popular now than he was when he was running the team. Like, there is a faction of Sixers fans and a faction of Philadelphia and a faction of basketball fans that do support Hinkie and feel like Colangelo's not doing a good job.
Oh, yeah, no, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, and the pressure has gone on Colangelo, especially after the Markelle Fultz trade. But I still think that the general consensus is that he's done a fine job. Like, he's done a normal job.
I think
he's not on a hot seat.
He's not on the hot seat. Yeah, exactly.
Did make good moves getting Bellinelli and Ilyasova.
JJ Redick was a very good signing.
JJ Redick, very savvy 1-year deal. He's not a terrible executive. Not a clown. The Fultz trade was terrible. Right. Trading down to get him when you could have gotten Tatum, you gave him a pick. That's a bad move. It happened. You traded with Danny Ainge, and you dealt with the devil, and you got dealt. But it happens. But like, I don't understand, like, and similar to Kevin Durant, where it's like, Kevin Durant, you're a top 3 player in the NBA. Why are you worried about these people?
Right.
You're Bryan Colangelo. You're a safe executive of one of the best young teams in the NBA. Your job's safe. Your dad is a consultant.
Yeah.
And
you're part of basketball royalty.
Yeah, you're part of basketball royalty. Even if you do get fired, you'll find another job, just like you always do. Like, what are you worried about? What I will say also is that I talked to you about, last week, when I talked about how I think if LeBron were to go there, I think Joel Embiid might be on the out. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Bryan Colangelo looked at Ben Simmons as his franchise guy.
Right.
I definitely look at Fultz and Embiid. I've mentioned on this show, Fultz especially. I think both those guys are expendable to Philly. If they can find a path of getting better. Like, I don't think those guys are untouchable. Mm-hmm. Like, I think Embiid, they may look at it as a bad fit, and I think they may want to cash in. It's too late now. You can't do it because it would look terrible. Danny Ainge wouldn't.
Yeah, they would lose. They can't do it because the PR would be.
Yeah, the PR would be too terrible.
Yeah, the PR wasn't bad anyway, but I mean now it would just be unbearable.
Yeah, it'd be like
this also because I think it kind of misses the pulse of the fans.
The fans love Embiid.
The fans
now
Embiid
there's a total difference.
The man,
I think in Philadelphia, I mean, I was there and he is definitely like they love Simmons too. It's very close.
Right, exactly.
There is like a cult hero type of figure with Embiid.
Right, exactly.
Where like
he's the everyman almost.
Yeah. You see him in the park in Philadelphia recently, playing pickup games with these guys.
Right.
Like those fans love Joel Embiid.
He's out partying, during the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
He's out in the streets of Philly, like.
So it would be tough to trade Joel Embiid. Now I think if LeBron were the.
Colangelo said he'd trade him to the Knicks in a heartbeat before Zingas.
That was a crazy statement.
He's a crazy stuff.
That was a crazy statement, man. I mean, I would like at the time if he was healthy, but I mean that's you can't say that. And keep your job.
This is crazy.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this podcast segment, be sure to check out all of our shows on the New Generation Podcast Network on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher.